They say sharing your dreams gives them power, that telling the world makes them real, that speaking them out loud pulls them closer, that it's a lie. Some dreams don't die from failure. They die from noise. They die the moment they leave your mouth. It starts small. A sentence said with excitement, a spark you couldn't hold in, a future you wanted others to see. You spoke it because you were proud, because you were tired of being invisible, because you wanted proof that your life could be more than this. But the moment the words landed in the air, something shifted. Not in the world. Inside you. Eyes changed. Smiles tightened. Silence followed. Then came the laughs. Not loud. Not cruel. Just enough to make you doubt yourself. The kind that says, be serious. The kind that says, know your place. The kind that never forgets. From that moment on, everything felt heavier. Money was already tight. Now it felt tighter. Every bill looked personal. Every empty pocket felt like a verdict. You worked harder, but fell further behind. Long days that led nowhere. Short nights filled with long thoughts. Family pressure crept in quietly. Concern disguised as advice. Fear dressed up as love. They didn't mean to crush you, but they did. Each question cut a little deeper. Each reminder of reality pulled you lower. Each comparison made you smaller. You stopped defending your dream. Then you stopped mentioning it. Then you stopped believing it. Humiliation became routine. Being overlooked felt normal. Being underestimated became expected. You walked into rooms already defeated. You spoke with less confidence. You laughed at jokes that hurt you. You learned how to nod, or to agree, how to disappear. The world didn't need to push anymore. You were doing it yourself. Every failure stacked on the last one. Not dramatic failures. Quiet ones. Applications ignored. Efforts unnoticed. Promises to yourself broken in silence. You watched others move forward while you stood still. Not because you were lazy, but because you were tired. Tired of explaining. Tired of hoping. Tired of being wrong. The dream that once kept you awake now kept you ashamed. You replayed your own words in your head. The ones you spoke too early. The ones you couldn't take back. You wondered if they were right. If you were delusional, if you mistook imagination for destiny, your mind became a hostile place. Every thought attacked the next. Every memory reminded you of who you failed to become. You tried to stay busy to avoid thinking, but thinking always caught up. Late at night, early in the morning, in the quiet moments between distractions, you began to measure your worth in reactions, in approval, in silence, and silence hurt more than laughter. Because silence confirmed something you feared, that no one believed in what you believed in, and slowly you stopped believing too. Poverty isn't just empty pockets. It's empty confidence. It's waking up already tired. It's knowing effort doesn't guarantee escape. You felt trapped inside your own life. Watching time pass, watching potential rot. The dream became a burden. A weight you carried alone, a secret you avoided even in your own thoughts. Some days you hated it. Some days you missed it. Most days you just felt numb. You told yourself to be realistic, to grow up, to accept what is. But realism felt like surrender, and surrender felt like death. The pressure didn't explode. It pressed, slowly, relentlessly, until breathing felt heavy, until mornings felt pointless, until getting out of bed felt like a negotiation. You started questioning your existence, not dramatically, quietly. What am I doing? What if this is all there is? The thought of quitting didn't scare you anymore. It tempted you. Because quitting meant silence, and silence felt easier than disappointment. You weren't chasing success anymore. You were running from shame. And the worst part wasn't failing. It was knowing you spoke too soon, that you gave the world a chance to touch something fragile. You didn't lose your dream all at once. You leaked Italiano through words, through explanations, through seeking validation. And now, standing at the edge of yourself, you felt smaller than ever. Not broken yet, but close. The kind of close that doesn't scream. It whispers. And whispers are dangerous. The days started blending together. No markers. No progress. Just movement without direction. You woke up already exhausted, not from work, from carrying thoughts you couldn't shut off. Every reminder felt like an attack, a notification, a question, a simple comment. Your mind twisted everything against you. You told yourself you were wasting time, that you waited too long, that if it was meant to happen, it would have happened by now. You started bargaining with life, lowering expectations, shrinking desires, convincing yourself you didn't want much anyway. But the AA stayed. You tried motivation. Videos, speeches, quotes. They worked for minutes, sometimes hours, then collapsed. Because motivation fades, and when it fades, reality speaks. Reality reminded you of your bank balance, of the looks people gave you, of the way your name carried no weight. You felt exposed. Like everyone could see through you, see the gap between who you were and who you claimed you'd become. That gap felt humiliating. You stopped talking almost entirely, not out of wisdom, out of fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of sounding foolish, fear of revealing that you were still chasing something invisible. Silence became your shield, but also your prison. The loneliness deepened. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind, surrounded by people, yet unseen. You smiled when expected, you agreed when necessary. You avoided mirrors when possible. Some nights, you stared at the ceiling for hours, not thinking, just staring. Your mind felt empty and loud at the same time. This is where people usually break, not with tears, but with numb acceptance. You reached that edge slowly. One night, the thought landed heavier than the rest. What if I stopped trying? Not as a threat, as relief. No more pressure, no more pretending, no more explaining, just survival. That thought scared you because it felt good. That's how close you were. At rock bottom, there is no drama, no music, no sudden clarity, just a quiet realization. No one is coming, not encouragement, not permission, not rescue. The world will let you rot politely, and that truth hurt more than all the laughter combined. Something inside you snapped. Not loudly, not violently. It hardened. You realized something painful. Every time you spoke your dream, it weakened. Every time you explained, it leaked energy. Every time you sought validation, you lost control. Your words had betrayed you. Not because others were evil, but because your dream wasn't ready for air. You had been feeding mouths that didn't build, giving updates to people who couldn't help, exposing something unfinished to judgment. That night, you didn't feel inspired. You felt embarrassed. Embarrassed that you talked more than you worked, that you announced before you earned, that you confused attention with progress. For the first time, you didn't want motivation. You wanted silence. Real silence. Not scrolling. Not distractions. Mental silence. You stopped rehearsing conversations in your head. Stopped imagining future praise. Stopped arguing with people who weren't there. You noticed how loud your thoughts were. How undisciplined. How weak. They pulled you backward constantly. Into regret. Into fear. Into fantasy. You understood something brutal. If you cold tea, control your mind, nothing else mattered. So you made a decision. Not a dramatic one, a private one. You would stop speaking about your dream entirely. No hints, no updates, no explanations. Not because you quit, but because you were done bleeding in public. You would stop waiting to feel ready. Stop chasing motivation. Stop needing to be seen. You chose discipline. Cold. Quiet. Unemotional. You started with your thoughts, cutting them off, refusing to entertain weakness. not replacing them with positivity, replacing them with order. You didn't feel powerful. You felt empty, but empty was better than broken. This wasn't hope yet. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't belief. It was control, and control was new. For the first time in a long time, you didn't tell anyone what you were about to do. You just stopped talking, and in that silence, something small began to shift, not externally. Internally, silence didn't change your life overnight. It changed your posture. You moved differently, thought differently, worked without announcing it. No one noticed, and that was the point. You woke up earlier, not to feel inspired, to obey a decision. Some days you made progress, some days you failed. Most days were boring. Boring work, repetitive effort. Small wins that didn't impress anyone. You learned to respect boring. You stopped measuring days by emotion. You measured them by completion. Did the work get done? Yes or no? Your mind still tried to sabotage you. It reminded you of the past, of the people who laughed, of the time you lost. You didn't argue with those thoughts. You didn't comfort them. You ignored them. Control grew quietly. Weeks passed, then months. Nothing looked different from the outside, but inside, something hardened. You stopped reacting, stopped explaining, stopped seeking approval. Your confidence wasn't loud. It was calm. Failure stopped feeling personal. Success stopped feeling urgent. You learned to keep your head down, your mouth shut, your standards high. People began to treat you differently, not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped begging for it. You spoke less, but when you did, it mattered. You moved without permission, without applause, without witnesses. The dream didn't feel fragile anymore, because it wasn't exposed. It grew in the dark, like it was supposed to. One day, you realized something strange. You weren't angry anymore. Not at them. Not at yourself. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need validation. You had peace. That peace came from discipline, from controlling what entered your mind, from choosing silence over noise. You understood the truth too late, but not too late. Most dreams don't need encouragement. They need protection. They don't need to be spoken. They need to be built. The world is full of people who talk, very few who endure. You became one who endures. So if you're listening to this right now, carrying something fragile, something unfinished, something people wouldn't understand, keep it quiet. Not because you're afraid, because it's sacred. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Let them forget. Work in silence. Suffer in silence. Grow in silence. And when the time comes, you won't need to explain anything. Your life will speak for you. Calmly, clearly, finally.